Just the familiar scenario of a new manager bounce for Nottingham Forest as they kick off the Chris Hughton campaign with a big fat win. But what about Rovers? It's back-to-back home games without a goal. And of course, no win. We'll talk about that and more next. Rovers loss up against Nottingham Forest, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button. I'm out today with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We're going to know here under Waruski. That's right, of course, Rovers kicking off or rebooting or restarting the old Championship campaign with a big fat L. That's right, of course, coming back in from the international break. But we'll talk more about that in a minute. I want a big shout out right now for, of course, the Patreon gang supporting the channel behind the scenes. You know who you are, so respect to all of you guys for supporting the channel behind the scenes. Again, if anyone else is out there, check out the old descriptions down below. There is a link down there, patreon.com/Rovers. You can come and support the channel in another way. And of course, if you aren't new, make sure you bang the old subscribe. So let's get into it, of course. Break the game down in all its glory then and have a little look at the numbers. It's not very pleasant. Just the 1-0, and it was a 90, you are reading that right, a 90th minute winner with that main man again, Joe Lolley. I did call it throughout the game. We did have a watch along for this game right here on the old YouTube, and I did call it that if anything was going to happen, it was going to be Joe Lolley scoring the goals. And he did kick it off. He got their one and only goal. In fact, they were a little bit unfortunate not to get more than that. They may have not had the fair share of possession, but they did have the fair share of decent chances. Hitting the woodwork twice, the frame of the bar up top with a looping cross. And of course, Sami Abiobi had also had an effort there. They hit the bar. So all in all, we dominated possession, but we were toothless moving forward. Absolutely criminal display for us. As you see on the left-hand side, we have the statistics there coming at you. 16 shots on the day for Nottingham Forest, just the 6 for Rovers. We scored goals so far this season, but the past 2 games have been goal shy, shot shy as well. Maybe we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Maybe we're getting a little bit too cocky, and I think we're just getting a bit found out. But getting a bit too lackadaisical today. We'll take a look at the starting 11s in a minute, but I think we did miss a driving force in the midfield. We did, of course, have Player of the Month, Bradley Johnson, in there. Player of the Month of September. Yeah, he was probably the best of the trio, to be honest with you. John Buckley having the start as well, which he's got an excellent touch, the young lad. But I just didn't think he gave us that special something today. But you know, we can rip us all apart for all said purposes, but you've got to give credit to Nottingham Forest. Chris Hughton's come in, of course, winless, barely scored a goal, but today they got what they deserved, and that was a big fat double, and they're going to start moving up the table. They're going to start climbing the table, and of course, bringing in a couple of nice players as well. What's his face? Who's that fella from Fulham? I do know his name. The little decent little wing. I can't remember his name, but he's a good one. Formerly of Brighton. I can't remember. Grosicki is also coming in potentially as well. I can't remember his name. It's just I've got a mental blank. But it didn't feature today. None of the new signings that did come across the line on Friday featured at all for either sides. Let's get back into the statistics then. Of course, like I said, 16 shots for Forest, just the 6 for Rovers. We had 61% of the possession, 39 for Nottingham Forest. Of our 6 shots, 2 of them are on target. And this is where it does go a little bit against the grain. Of the 16 shots by Nottingham Forest, only 4 of them on target. So we had a better shot on target ratio compared to that of Nottingham Forest, but of course they did have much more attempts at goal. We had more corners to them, 5 to their 3. We had more yellow cards, which isn't great, 2 to their 1. Again, like I said, they hit the woodwork a couple of times. Shots inside the box, 8 for Nottingham Forest. Kaminsky was my star man. I'll take a look at those match details in just a second. Quick look at the passes there. We had more passes, 514 to their 313. And again, long balls. We were actually on the I think better off with the old long balls as well, according to that statistics there as well. And we did throw into more tackles, as they did. All the statistics are there on your screen. So let's take a look, of course, the match ratings. getting into it. This is first and foremost the starting 11s with Rovers. Kaminsky between sticks, Bell, Lennon, Ayala and Nyambe, your flat back four. Johnson, Buckley and Evans, your three-man midfield there. Brereton, Armstrong and Tyree Stolen up top. But that was the starting 11s, but here come the match ratings. They weren't great. Kaminsky does get my man of the match. He does get an 8 because he did pick up some good saves and he does show the quality. Unfortunately for him, no clean sheet today. And again, unfortunately for him, we did make another addition as a goalkeeper. So he's got to be on his toes. He's got to be on his best behaviour. Another man that needs to be on his best behaviour is Amari Bell. Of course, Barry Douglas coming in, experienced left back. He did okay today, to be honest with you. I'm giving him a 7. I did see him bombing forward. I did see him do a lot of the attacking. It looked like a little bit of a different Amari Bell, but unfortunately at the end of the day, on the losing end today. Lennon with a 6, Ayala with a 6, and Nyambe with a 6. Flat back 6, 6, 6, 6. Mark of the devil. The mark of the commentator's curse as well. We'll talk more about the commentator's curse in a second. You know who you are, Lucy. Warren Lucy with his commentator's curse. Moving forward, this is where it starts to get really ugly. Johnson with a 5, Buckley with a 5, and Evans with a 5. They were kind of a bit boring, a bit bland. It didn't really create much. It was too slow, too pedestrian, too not what we're used to, of course. And then, of course, as it goes further forward, it gets even worse as well. Well, Brereton, I give him a 6. Out of the 3, he was the more likely to cause some problems. Armstrong had a couple of efforts, really, and Tyree Stolen was literally probably his worst game so far in the Blue and White Halves. It happens, brother. It does happen. We can't have you always doing your dazzling moves. Let's get a quick look at the Forest lineup here then. Samba between sticks, Iono on the left back. He's not in the game yet. McKenna, Figueroa, Christie at the back 4 there. Yates and Colback, Freeman, Amiobi, Lolley, and of course Graven. Again, always a threat. Always a threat. Let's go back to that Rovers team here. Yeah, of course, Tyree Stolen started. He's burst onto the scene, come on into the scene. But I'm getting to the point now because he's getting found out a little bit. He's getting found out. Don't get me wrong. He's got all the tricks of the trade. He's got all the moves, but sometimes he does it a little bit too often in places where you don't want him to do it. There's sometimes where there's a time and a place to bust out the moves and bust out the shapes and does some of the dance moves and all that kind of stuff. And in the defensive third, for me, it doesn't sit well. It's likely going to cause a problem, cause a mistake, and it's going to lead to a goal. So it hasn't yet. It hasn't yet, fortunately. Long may it won't. Long may that doesn't happen. But to be honest with you, he's banging them out too soon, and he's a little bit wafer thin for some big games. Of course, he burst on the scene with Wickham. He burst on the scene, of course, with Derby as well, and of course also other matches as well this season at Bournemouth and Nottingham and Newcastle as well. So he's been good. He's been decent. But I'd say let's kind of pull him back now. We have brought in another winger in Harvey Elliott, which I do expect Liverpool would like to see him get some game time. So I would like to, if I was Mowbray, I would be more likely to throw him on the bench, keep him on the bench. Last 15 minutes when players are tired, chuck on Tyree Stolen and let's have a little look at him and let him turn him inside out. I think that's the way to go. For us, and now that Gallagher's back as well, so we do expect to see a different lineup for the game against Watford, which we'll be talking about hopefully tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. And Armstrong again a little bit too fast as well. Buckley maybe just a game too far. Forest came for a point, but they came away with absolutely more than that. So credit for them. And let's take a look at more of the stats here. Here are more stats. Here are the shots of the day. The blue is Nottingham Forest. The orange is Rovers, and as you see, not much. At home as well. I know there's no fans there to roar us on, but really, it's a very, very poor effort, especially when you consider how much money. I know I don't like throwing that, and nobody likes to throw that statistic around, how much money our forward line cost. And that is a fair bit of money. Fair chunk of change. What else do we have? A heat map. So the heat map man, just like me. As you see, a lot of ball, Rovers, a lot of ball. 715 touches compared to 524. Forest, whenever they had the chance, they made it count. And again, down that left-hand side, our right, was a very prosperous avenue, so not very good today down that right hand side. Amobi was a problem. Cyrus Christie was a problem as well, causing all kinds of stuff down that right hand side. And unfortunately, it all came tumbling down for Rovers. We had a lot of ball, but literally did absolutely nothing with it. What else do we have on the agenda? Okay, in fact, let me just pop out back to the tip of the top there. Let's have a quick little listen what the gaffer had to say about this match. Here's Tony Mowbray with his thoughts and wisdom about this match, and of course, kicking forward to midweek.
Oh, not much. I thought the signs were there pretty early. We lacked intensity early on. It's everything that we've been so good at this year. Just a lot of basic errors. It looked like a team that hadn't played together, and I'd have to say it was a team that hadn't played together. We hadn't had one day with that team on the grass. because of the current climate and circumstances, the team changed from the one we prepared during the week. Yeah, listen, it looked like 0-0 all over it, really. I don't think we were ever under any real serious threat, but there you go. Joe Lolley's not the first time he scored a outside the box shot against us. You know, we talked about getting to Joe Lolley cutting in on his left foot off the right, so frustrating day for us, but you know, it's not as if we threatened their goal too much, and we just have to accept it. I said tight games, you can lose tight games from a set play or deflected shot, and we have to make these games not tight and that we're out of sight, really. And but it was never looked like that today. The way we started the game, first half was as poor as we've been this year, and if I'm trying to find an excuse for them, as I said, it's not a team it was like thrown together, really, and it's been a bit frustrating the build up to it. Yeah, Joe's I think Joe's a unique type of footballer, really, who's a ball traveller with, you know, extraordinary speed and a change of direction, really, that can run past midfields and create chances for our strikers. And you know, we lacked that a little bit today. The point of we had midfield players who were a more structured midfield players who get it and pass it and move it on, really. But you know, that didn't happen quick enough today, and we lacked the individuality to create the chances for the strikers. Yeah, because there's an expectation from them, and you know, these are young guys. I want them to feel the expectation. I'm trying to pile it onto them. They have to deal with expectation and pressure. That's what footballers do. So yeah, that's okay. Let's hope it's a blip for us, and we can push on again and find our rhythm. But it's been a difficult 2 weeks for probably for all clubs. It's not ideal. I've heard the Southampton manager moaning about 3 international games and then them getting back on Friday. It's ridiculous, really, how you expect to put a football team together that's structured and coached and understands how it played and what the expectations are. It's you basically feel a little bit like you're throwing them out there and hoping you get a result. And you saw it. We had Luke Brennan's never got a squad number, a shirt, other than, you know, it's we had nobody left, you know. And I'm not a manager who ever wants to put a team out with 5 subs or 6 subs to make a point to anybody. That's not going to be the case. These young lads are getting opportunities. But you know, he played in the Youth Cup. He's got a Youth Cup semi-final coming up against Man City, which means he's under 18 footballer. You know, and that's where we were with our numbers today. Yeah, well, I'm not sure exactly what the situation is. Who knows? You know, I'm like most of you probably. I don't sit at home and go through my emails too strongly. You know, I live my life sort of. I come to the training ground, I go to my house or my accommodation, I go home. That's it, really. I don't. Joe, I don't know the rules. Is ultimately to the point of where Joe Rothwell. I think, is he 10 days? Is he 2 weeks? I don't know. Do you know?
I guess it depends whether he's been positive himself or is it someone else.
Right, but if it's somebody else, is it 10 days or 2 weeks? Do you know?
I think it's 10 days if it's somebody else.
Right.
It's 2 weeks if you test positive.
Right. As far as I know, he's probably got 10 days or 9 days or 8 days to go, so let's wait and see.
Meanwhile, what's been going on social media? Then let's take a little look at what's been going on over there on Twitter, the Twitter universe. Let's get into it. Alex Curry said this: not massively displeased with the performance. Harsh to say we were dreadful, definitely lacklustre and careless at times. Massively missed Rothwell Holtby. Draw would have been fair result. Shame to lose though on an individual error. Still plenty of promise with full squad. BRFCS.com, of course, make sure you check out the BRFCS forum. Very, very lively. And of course, they've got plenty of Rovers content over there. The energetic, enthusiastic team that pressed, harried and chased at Derby has transformed into a sluggish, one-paced, sloppy collection of individuals. I agree. Rovers Analytics probably going to break down the game themselves as well. Really poor today. I said it at half-time. We'd lose this 1-0 if we didn't do something. Unimpressed with so many players, and then teams will come and play like that every week. If we're so limp and against defensive shapes, BRFC, #Rovers. Sam Spotter said this: yes, it was shit, but with Dak, Travis, Rothwell, Douglas, Tribal, Holtby, Elliott and Rankin Costello all to come in, we're going to look unreal. I didn't expect a result today due to the fact we've got a few out. Let's move on to Wednesday and get a win to show our intent. Meanwhile, of course, Elliot Bennett, our captain, one of the captains anyway, at Rovers, he said this: nobody said the journey would be easy. I believe in this group of players that we can be right, in with a chance to achieve great things, exciting times ahead for sure. Alex Curry also back in again. Missing players was the defining factor for me. Not a good enough excuse. If we want to have hopes of top 6, need to be able to adapt. Won't be the first time. We are short of numbers and have key players out. Again, brfcs.com. We'll skip them. Moving on to talk of E-word. Bloody Joe Lolley. Man hate coming up against that guy. Again, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly there. Joe Harvey says this, and I retweeted it because it's bang on. He said, I blame Warren Lucy for saying, I can't see Forest scoring in this one so early in the second half. I said it on the watch along. I said it. That's going to come and bite us in the backside. And it did look like, not only did they score at the last minute, but they could have had 2 or 3, to be honest with you. Chris Martin, the always vocal Chris Martin, said, the only positive from this today was Luke Brennan getting on for a senior debut. We didn't talk about that, but we will. No, we didn't do too much. And realistically, he's not getting in the squad under normal circumstances. But it's another one with bright future coming out of the academy, right? It was great, fantastic. I was listening to the commentators. They were mentioning Brennan. I thought it was a Forest player. I had no idea that we had. I completely missed it in the tweet with the starting 11 and the subs. I completely blanked over it, glossed over it. But yes, kudos to the youngster coming in there with a few minutes under his belt. Moving forward, what else do we have? We have Matt Stilto said, or Silato, sorry, a deflated feeling had 0-0 written all over it until a deflected goal undid us. Forest were always going to be very, very organised under Hughton. Felt we missed key players who have been excellent in recent weeks. We won't win them all, folks. Moving on. Callum Atkins said this midfield balance all wrong. Gallagher to play wide, a huge mistake on Mowbray's part. I'm going to come back on that. Clearly the new signings haven't given them a wake-up call. It's still early days with the new signings. Let's just kind of hold off. But I thought we played much better with Gallagher than we did with Tyree Stolen today. Just those last 10 minutes. I think there's a time and place for Tyree Stolen, and I said it already. It's not full 90. Give him the last 10 minutes to really cause some problems. Fitness fan 82, aka Martin, said this can't be losing Holtby, Travis and Rothwell an expected result. Good job that reinforcements has been acquired. See what the season brings now. Tony Mowbray has been backed. He'll have to make sure he gets the results. Meanwhile, Sam 7 plus digits, aka Sam Brink, said, oh well, on to the next one. We're still going up. So who actually gives up? That's right. David Bannister said this. This is Banner 1289. That midfield had no balance whatsoever. Missed Rothwell today as no one had no one who could drive with the ball through the middle. If I don't see at least 2 out of the 4 start on Wednesday, I think it'll be another loss. It's going to be a difficult game. Watford are flying high Premiership team, realistically. Meanwhile, Carl Wick said this. Evans, Dolan, Chapman, all poor for me. Bell, Gallagher and centre-backs looked good. Johnson had an okay game, but sloppy at the end to cause the goal. Back to reality. Pretty much what I said in my match ratings there. Roy Chowdhury, 86, said this pathetic. Good thing we signed the players we did. I won't be surprised to see a few of them not making the team for Watford. I hope we do make some changes, to be honest with you. Solsters, Inc., aka Solly, said sooner Trav, Holtby, and especially Dacky get back in the lineup. No cohesion between the midfield and the top end of the pitch. One bang on the nose there. Dean Rover, aka Phi Rover. Football Index Dean, Rover Dean, I don't know what that means. Buckley was sloppy. Teams are standing up to Dolan. He's a young kid, he is. It won't be always a bed of roses. Forest ragged it, but were disciplined in their approach. Sorely missed Rothwell and Holtby today. Douglas should make a difference. Yes, he will. Set pieces, massive. Today proved the need for depth added. Jonathan Lobb said this, let's all calm down and stop getting knickers in a twist. Missing key players, can't win them all, boys and girls. We go again. Jonathan Kingsley, we're going to keep on going. Past 2 games, complete and utter shite. No determination to attack. Can't recall their keeper having to make a save. Deservedly, absolutely nothing and got nothing. The one who Deuce, of course, big friend of the channel. Always going to be tough one with the new manager bounce and a top manager at that. But disappointed by the damp squib, and that goal was coming for a long time. Need to regroup, get the new talent bedded and integrated. Now we see why Tony Mowbray got what he did. Upward and onward. Amari Bell, of course, played the game. Not great performance today. We can always play well, but in games like that, we need to come out on the better side. We'll dust ourselves down and prepare to go again. Tyree Stolen, of course, not feeling the great after today's performance, but we win some, we lose some, but we can't keep our heads down because we are now preparing for our midweek game, and hopefully we will go and put things right and get back to winning ways. Big old thumbs up. Of course, we're behind you, brothers. We are behind you. Let's take a look what else went on this weekend out in the old Championship. Of course, Derby lost to Watford. Pressure's going to be on Koku now. They must win the midweek game or he's out, I think. Brentford did win against Coventry 2-0. Tony with a couple of goals. He's hunting you down, Armstrong. Wickham, despite taking the lead, did lose to Middlesbrough, and Reading duked it out to a 0-0 draw. Luton finally lost up against Stoke. Barnsley picked up a 2-2 draw as well. Against Bristol City. That's, again, a bit of a couple of points drop there. I didn't know that result, you know. I did not know that. I thought it was a 2-1 win. Wow. Sheffield Wednesday. Is this right? Am I seeing these right? 1-0 win, Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, I did see that one, actually. That was Bannon with the penalty, right? I believe. Rotherham 1, Norwich 2. I did see that one. Of course, Huddersfield 2, Swansea 1. Again, am I seeing these right? These are absolutely crazy scorelines. Bournemouth 0, QPR 0. Yeah, well, I kind of expected that. And of course, tomorrow, Preston against Cardiff. And of course, the shit game today was Rovers against Forest, and we lost. A quick look at your table here. Of course, Bristol City, Reading all dropping points to open up the door for Bournemouth. Biggest movers there, alongside perhaps Stoke, who else made some moves up there. Millwall, of course, now still in the playoffs, doing very, very well as well, sneaking in there. But it is still, of course, early days. Rovers dropped down to 9th. Forest climb up to 20th, so a big move for them. And of course, Sheffield Wednesday looking very, very good so far down the foot of the table, even though they're on -4. But realistically, if they didn't have that points deficit, they'll be as high as 7th right now. So they're still in the discussion. I do expect them to get themselves out of it now. They're looking very, very good, composed, made good signings as well. Other big winners, Brentford climbing up to 10th. Had to sit on the charge as well. Minners was just keeping their heads clean. And Birmingham, yeah, well, it's not all nice and roses, is it, under Karanka? But I still expect them to be up in the discussion at the top half of the table. Moving forward, what else is going to go on this midweek? It is, of course, jam-packed. Some games kicking off on Tuesday. Huddersfield against Derby. Two teams needing results. Huddersfield look the better for it at the moment. Derby needs some points. Bristol City again. Can they make amends for the slip up this weekend? Up against Middlesbrough at home. Coventry against Swansea. That's a difficult one. Of course, both teams coming to this on the back of defeats. It looks like, or at least a slip up. Swansea did slip up, didn't they? Or did they lose? They did lose. That's right. So both of them coming into defeats. Norwich again. Birmingham are two teams that need some points. Mill against Luton as well. Bit of a crunch clash down in London way. Forest can they make it 2 wins at 2? I'll fancy their chances. I really will. We'll have our own prediction show for this tomorrow. Reading against Wickham. Again, Wickham need points. The game of the week will be though at Vicarage Road as Watford take on Rovers. We'll have extensive coverage of that game. At least a match preview on the channel. Sheffield Wednesday against Brentford. Can they make it another win for them as they steam forward? Cardiff against Bournemouth. QPR against Preston, and Stoke up against Barnsley. But that, my friends, is pretty much it. That's all I've got for you. Where am I? Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up. And if you are new, bang your subscribe button and keep your bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, whoa, football related. We got it all here, boys. And whoa, Ruski. Now, hopefully we'll be back. We will be back for the Watford build-up. As well this week. Match preview coming at you very, very soon. So make sure you stick by for that. We've also got championship predictions, which we might be live doing them tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see how time goes and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's it. Now, if Rovers can dust themselves down and pick up a result against Watford and pick up a big fat W, a surprise package there, that would actually go a long way to rectifying this result against Nottingham Forest here today. So, you know, realistically, I was looking at these next two games and maybe trying to get 4 points out of them. So if that's not possible, that's not possible. But 3 points is definitely a doable achievement. I don't think Watford are home and dry and nailed on for wins. They have got a couple of dangerous players, but I'm not really impressed with them so far. They're doing okay in the table, but I'm sure they're going to be running into some difficult games, and we hopefully we could be at our very, very best, and hopefully we'll see some of the new guys. Douglas, for me, should get in the discussion, and maybe even Tribal as well, because the midfield looked very, very flat. Anyway, I'm going to get out of it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up, and if you are new, bang the subscribe, of course. Thanks again for Ian Herbert and Jack for stopping by earlier in the old watch along for their points of view for both Forest and Rovers, and hopefully we'll do it all again next week for Coventry. If you're interested, get in the old description, let me know that you want to be on the show. Till then, I'm out.